Crazy scientist there. Yeah, so this did just happen. This is real. Yeah, suicide. I mean, I'm 99% sure that the person is not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think everybody would have been as somber if the person had survived. And I think everybody would have been moving a lot quicker. So, how do I react? You know what I mean? So I'll tell you the way I found out is I saw cops, going crazy, riding around with their sirens on, acting a little bit chaotic. And the last time this happened was a year ago, less than a year ago when there was a shooting. So of course I am a little concerned. So I was trying to figure out what happened, and finally I figured out. I went over to the medical library, and I even there were some students standing out there, and so they told me. So yeah, I guess the person jumped off a building right into the courtyard of the medical library. So there were students out there too, or at least nearby that saw. So it's extremely depressing, I don't know. I mean, I guess the worst part is to start to feel a little numb to people at universities killing themselves because it's becoming so intense and competitive, and But I think moreover, and this can't keep happening, The MITs, the UCLAs, the Stanfords, the Princetons, any environment where kids are being pushed to the brink, and what do you think is going to happen, Or when they snap and take other people with them, right? I mean, just last year, a PhD student came back after he had already graduated and killed a professor, And then right now we have somebody taking their own life. And I guess midterms had just happened, so I have no idea who this is. I don't know much information other than I believe that they actually jumped out of the 11th story window of the UCLA Medical Library. So that was all I can gather. So I needed to go in the library to grab a book on top of it. So I went upstairs, and I think that they had just slid a window open and jumped out. Yeah, it is awful. It is awful. But, I guess moreover, all I can think about is what, yeah, 50% of teen suicides due to being bullied. I believe that. Yeah. So, I don't know. Something needs to change, folks. A culture needs to change. Look, right now everybody's clamoring for the same 5 jobs that exist in the world because we're not employing people like we used to. We're leaving most of our jobs up to computer programs, software programs, and robots. And it's going to get worse. So in all actuality, we need to we need to create jobs for people, no matter what our technology status. But moreover, it's like in schools. It's getting really bad. So I would think about this if I was a student, a parent. I am a parent. But I don't know. I don't know what to say, So, but yeah, this is. I have no idea who this is. The only thing I guess is that it was somebody who at least associated with the sciences because they were in the medical library. They must have been in the medical library to know that the windows open up. I didn't even know that. They don't have locks on them. So yeah, but as far as I know, they jumped off the 11th floor. Which is actually not necessarily 11 stories above the ground because the library stacks start on the 4th floor, and then I think they jumped up 11, so it was like 7 stories. So no, I didn't witness it. No, I was pulling up on my bike, and at the same time just saw a lot of cops, a lot of commotion, and of course for me, the last time this happened was we had a shooting at UCLA, and of course I don't want to find out there's a shooter as he's running around my campus. You know what I mean? So, such a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Yeah, well, because even I was thinking, what are they going to do? They're going to put locks on the windows, right? Okay, so nobody can jump out. But again, that's a temporary solution to a cultural problem, folks. We expect we're in a testing testing culture where people are expected to only produce positive results, and you're the best, or the brightest, the greatest, and it doesn't leave room for imperfections. And unfortunately, I think it's leaving a lot of these students, these younger students especially, feeling like they are imperfect, you know, coming to imperfect people, coming in an imperfect world and pressured to be perfect, you know. So, yeah, I mean, it's just another, it is another sad day, you know, because I don't have an answer to this problem. I'm somebody who likes to solve problems, but all I can think is that it is a cultural, you know. Yeah, mental illness, absolutely, but I mean, do you have to be mentally ill to commit suicide? I don't think so. I think you could just hit rock bottom and be a perfectly sane person who doesn't have mental illness, you know, and you've reached your breaking point. I mean, because you know, having had bouts of, you know, small bouts of depression, I don't say I've ever been clinically depressed. I've ever had severe depression. I think just, you know what I mean? It's like, look, there's a lot of things to be depressed about right now. This generation expects to be given and isn't being strengthened to work hard. Well, you know, I think we need to stop blaming, right? Because that's the number one thing I see. Number one problem is blaming problems. Like, we can blame we can say it's your fault, there's this or that. You're either, you know, you're not doing enough or somebody's doing too much of something. But right now, yeah, where's the aloha attitude? Well, it's gone. Aloha when aloha. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. The thing with suicide is it'll end the person's hurt, but it passes on to those who love them. And it's absolutely right. Yeah, because I mean, who hasn't in this world ever thought about killing themselves at some point? You know what I mean? Even if it's fleeting, even if it's like for 2 seconds, being like, oh, if it's just too much, right? And I mean, and this is something that everybody's probably experienced at some point, but some people experience it more than others. And sometimes that little voice in your head doesn't go away. You know what I mean? For some people. So for some of us, we can push it back down and say, hey, everything's okay. This world is, you know what I mean? You still got a lot to do. It's not over. It's not the end of things, you know? But, I mean, look, folks, something needs to happen. I suffer from depression. I've contemplated by having. Well, good. Talk to somebody. Number one, talk to somebody. There's a lot of people out there who suffer depression. You're not alone. The number one thing I think that is people think that they're alone, and people that they trust and know and feel comfortable with wouldn't understand. But a lot of people understand more than we think. I have issues with depression. You took control. Yeah. I mean, I think, you know what it is? It's looking at it like, look, if you feel depressed or something's wrong, like, you know, you feel upset or something in your life, there's nothing wrong with you. I think we inherently again, and probably it's a product of our society, is we are forced to always feel so perfect or try to be so perfect. You know, try being on reality TV, you know, to boot. It's even worse. So it's like I'm disabled from car wreck depression comes with, yeah, absolutely. Talk, yeah, absolutely. Talk to anyone. Sometimes talking to strangers is easier than talking to somebody that you know. You know, we had emotional blocks. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I mean, that can solve something, but the human interaction, the genuine human interaction, I don't think it can ever be replaced by a robot. I don't think we're there technologically to pass the Turing test, right? You don't want to talk about it. Last thing you do, yeah, you absolutely 100%. But somehow you have to find a way. You have to find a way to talk about it, whether it's somebody that you know or somebody you trust or somebody you don't know that maybe can relate. And we need to find better ways to put somebody in connection with somebody who they can really talk to and feel comfortable talking to. I'll be honest with you. I've actually talked to people online about depression. I've had people reach out to me, and even before I started working with the Depression Grand Challenge at UCLA, I've had young teenagers, and I think all of them were boys, reach out to me about things that they were struggling with. You know, and I mean, I'm no expert, and trust me, I have my faults, but sometimes it's just being there, you know. You were the biggest beast in BB history. Yeah, right. No, it's okay. Hey, that makes me smile and laugh, right? Which is sometimes what we need. A bit of compassion goes a long way for someone who's hurting. I agree. That's my mother-in-law just asked me what I wanted to instill in Adora. The one thing I would want to instill, and I said compassion is the number one thing I think is so important. And we need to stop judging, right? Because I don't judge. I'm the last person to judge people. Look, I got penis pictures on the internet, so I ain't judging nobody. But I can laugh about it, right? Because let me tell you, when those things first went out and my life was a complete mess, you're gonna talk about depression? I was at my worst. I was at my bottom. So I was hurting too. And I had strangers that reached out to me, you know? People need to do more talking and less tweeting. Yeah, It's true. It is true. I mean, technology's made it possible for me to talk to you, right? Because maybe we would never have talked. Maybe we would never have been Facebook friends. Maybe we never emailed or whatever. But this is, even though it's just me talking and you know, talking back, it doesn't make it, allows us to connect with people that we would never connect with. However, it does take away that extra little bit of human touch that sometimes is needed, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's getting out of hand. It absolutely is. We've created a culture where we are expecting people to be 100% all the time. And if you're not, it's very easy for that person who isn't 100% to feel like they're failing, you know what I mean? Can we be friends? Of course. I don't know what IRL is, but whatever that, yeah, friends Earl. My name is not Earl. No relation to that TV show, which was called the opposite. But no, I mean, I don't know. I need to talk, huh? And this is my therapy. Maybe Periscope is my therapy. For some people who it is, you know? Wish I knew how to converse with you one-on-one and not on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, but in all actuality, with a baby and a PhD, I mean, it is sometimes hard for me to talk in general. But, look, if you're reaching out to me, reach out to me. If you're feeling that you're depressed and you need somebody to talk to, reach out to me. It's sad because no matter how perfect you are, there'll always be someone who pointed out your flaws. Yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you right now, don't be friends with those people. I mean, but we all need to be cognizant of that. We need to be aware of what we do and how we affect other people. Because sometimes they think the smallest things can affect people in the biggest ways, you know? So IRL, in real life, oh, there we go. This is how you know I'm not a millennial, right? According to Survivor. Twitter's a lot of like, give praise to those who throw the best shade. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, it's funny, right? I remember having this conversation with my friends when I was in high school. We stopped hanging around some people because all they would do is bag on other people, right? Rip on other people. And it's like, as guys, that's what we do best. We just make fun of each other. But then, of course, somebody always manages to take it to the next level. And it hurts. And you don't want to, you know, I don't want to pretend. I mean, you know, I wish I knew you in real life. I feel like we'd be, I'm sure, absolutely. I get along with a lot of people. And trolls, yeah. I mean, I think what it is, you know, here it is realizing that we all have good and we all have bad. None of us is good and none of us is bad. We are all a mix of everything. So it's like, let's stop trying to put labels on who's good and who's bad, right? Let's accept that we have our inherent flaws and our inherent good and bad characteristics, you know? Let it roll off your shoulder. I know, and for sometimes in some points in life that's easier said than done, right? I mean, if you're not sure, let's talk to the married people, right? Because like, I mean, even Rachel and I sometimes we will argue over stupid stuff, and sometimes okay, it's not, you know, and she'll say something that'll be a little hurtful, and I can let it go. Sometimes I can't, and you know, who's the victim? I don't know yet. I don't know. It hasn't come out. That's still very early. Dora's very lucky to be Rachel for her parents. Oh, well, thank you. I like to think so. Poor Daniel talked about all the bullying she'd been to and being kicked in the face. Felt so bad. And that's horrible. And that's horrible. And somebody who was bullied myself. I was bullied as a kid. I was a smart kid who was always put in the spotlight. And as somebody who I kind of like, I think I enjoyed the spotlight, but I wasn't really comfortable with it, right? I like being in the spotlight, but as soon as I get in the spotlight, I want to be out of the spotlight, you know? So, you cute Mr. Non-Bullied Man. Yeah, right. Well, so I'll tell you a real quick story from 7th grade, 6th grade to about 8th grade. 6th grade, 8th grade, I was bullied, for about 2 years. Every day I walked home. Every day I had to walk home. Of course, you know, I was too old to have a babysitter. I was 12. But these kids would follow me home and pick on me every single day, you know, and I was bigger than them. This is the crazy part, you know what I mean? I was bigger than them. I kept, literally, if I had been pissed enough, I probably could have beat the shit out of these kids, but for some reason I never did, and I didn't want to fight, and I don't know if it was out of fear or just not wanting to fight, but I'm still not a fighter. I don't want to fight. It'd be the last thing I do. I want to fight with words, but I don't want to fight with fists, you know what I mean? So it's hard. Every time I see you here, I stop whatever I'm doing to listen. Oh, I appreciate that. Well, hopefully I'm worth listening to, you know. So I guess it's just, it hit home a little bit because I am somebody who, look, I'm in my 6th year of my PhD. It's stressful. you know, sometimes you just feel like you're not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not, you know, but it's like, look, it's like life is a lot bigger than a couple moments or a year in your life or a couple years in your life. It's like, you know what I mean? And that's sometimes I think we need to step back and take a look at things and even talk to people, you know? Messages are always worth listening to. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's, look, I mean, because I'm tired of it. Like, our election is just, I mean, this entire election is just spurring the hate, you know? And I've gone here a couple times and gone to bat with people who are supporting Trump, but look, I don't care. I don't care about your votes. Because, in all honesty, things are going to happen the way they're going to happen. But the bigger picture is what happens after the vote. How are we going to treat people after all this is said and done? Are we going to change? Which key unlocked foot? Sometimes Rachel. Oh shit. Let me call my wife. Hold on. Very important.